Hey everybody, welcome back to the 30 Minutes of Fame podcast. I'm Dave, your host here. Today I'm joined by Kirk, who I crossed paths with on TikTok after I had Abigail on, and I noticed the name Captain Kirk on there and a lot of Captain Kirk cosplay, and I'm like, oh, I grew up watching Star Trek with my dad and my brother, so here we go. Come on my show, let's have a chat. So Kirk is an inspiring actor. Right now you can see there a truck driver, and let's just start there, man. Well, welcome to my show.
Well, thank you for having me, Dave.
The first thing you said to me is that you're trans. Everybody's welcome on the show. I mean, I'm a faithful person. I've had an atheist musician on here, and it doesn't matter. So let's start with your story. Um, how you're an inspiring actor, how you got started there, and we'll go from there.
Well, the aspiring actor came from when I was a young kid. I grew up in a single parent household, no siblings at all. So it was kind of, I had to entertain myself, in other words. I would occasionally have friends come over, but there was just something missing. So I took into creating my own scenes, and I kind of felt alive, and people took it as, oh, I'm just a kid with an imagination and I'll grow out of it. It wasn't every day that I was profoundly acting, but it was always in the background of me getting older. I wanted to be an actor. From a young age, I wanted to. As soon as I was able to, I was looking into all acting schools, everything I could, even while I was in college getting my associate's degree in law enforcement. I was looking into anything that had to do with acting, how to become an actor. Do I need to go through schooling to become an actor? Just general knowledge about how to get into it. But every time I looked into it or got interested in it, my family would just blow me off like, don't waste your time. You know, find something you're excited about and that'll help pay the bills and we'll send you on your way. You'd think that family's supposed to care, supposed to love you, supposed to support you, supposed to cheer you on in things that you're passionate about. Well, that's the opposite of mine. Well, except one person. Well, two. My great aunt, who has always been there, she has supported me throughout everything in my life. And my uncle, who passed away about 7, 8 years ago, he supported anything and everything. He taught me basic life skills, like how to fix a fence, how to polish furniture, how to make things out of wood, how to make furniture, how to reupholster everything. And he was, if I could choose my dad, I would choose him. Um, because, as we said earlier, I didn't know my dad till I was 8.5 years old. And anytime I would ask my mom, where's dad? She would say, he left because you were born. He left because you. And ever since she told me that at 5 years old, I internalized everything. So everything became my fault, even if I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I constantly said, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. And it got to the point where when I was at my dad's, I wanted to tell him at first. I wanted to tell him everything that I was going through, every emotional, psychological torture that I was going through with them. But because of everything that had happened, if I told my dad, what if it went back to my mom? Could I trust my dad not to say anything to her so that she wouldn't come back at me and put me down even further? So I got the courage up and I told him, and I said, "Am I the reason you left?" He said, "I've never seen my dad cry. I have never seen him cry." But when I told him, he looked at me square in the face, pulled me in close, and said, "No, don't ever think that you are the reason." I went home that day and I told Mom, I said, "Hey, Dad told me the truth. I'm not the reason he left. It's because you two couldn't talk together. You couldn't communicate." She called me a traitor for taking his side. What mother? How can you sit there and call your child a traitor for telling you that their father told them the truth after you had told them for years that it's their fault that their dad is gone? How can you sit there and just downplay someone who's just trying to be themselves and finally make it in the world? Fast forward, I'm in my 20s and I'm becoming a truck driver, and yay, I'm doing this, I'm getting through this. I did it all on my own, just like college. No help from anybody. But then again, why would anybody help? I mean, they occasionally helped financially, but that was about it. Now I'm 4 years down in trucking, and just last year, the end of last year, I was looking on TikTok, and I was like, I feel like there's something missing, and I wanted to become an actor. I started cosplaying, I started role-playing, I started doing anything and everything I could to get into my acting like I used to. And then I found my acting coach, and I started feeling like I was alive once again. Like I was able to be myself and genuinely show myself instead of hiding behind a mask saying, I'm fine, I'm okay, and not showing my genuine self. Just at the beginning of the end of last year, when I was getting into acting, I remembered sitting on the couch with my dad at his house, little 9-year-old me just sitting right next to my dad, watching Star Trek. I felt at home. I felt safe. For once, I felt like somebody loved me and that I was not invisible. That I was not just a figment of anybody's imagination, but I was actually seen and loved. I remember this one time we were just there and Captain Kirk comes on and uses the lines, boldly go where no man has gone before. And those words came back to me last year. And I said, look at me, 4 years in trucking. I'm living my life 3 years on testosterone. At the beginning, nobody even would second guess if I was or not, because I've always been not your stereotypical feminine sized person, but here I am also getting into acting. And the one person that was my inspiration in getting to act was William Shatner, because he was the first person that I actually connected with in Star Trek, because he had been through so much. He was, impulsive. He was known as the impulsive captain. He would go off of emotions rather than logic, as Mr. Spock would. And looking back at that and looking at how I've lived my life so far, I have been impulsive. I have followed impulses. But if I didn't follow my impulses at all, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I would not be where I am, and I would not be following my dreams. I'm not saying all impulses are good, but you only get one life. And something that my dad said to me is, find a job that you love, that you'll wake up and enjoy for the rest of your life. Don't get a job that's just for the money and something you're not going to enjoy doing, because you're not going to get anything out of it. You're going to wake up, hate yourself, and feel worthless, but hey, it's a big paycheck.
You know what's
And
cool? Just it made me think of it. Up the road about 20 minutes from me is a little town called Vulcan, Alberta, and they have Spock days. And one year, Mr. Spock actually came up there, and all the Star Trek guys. There's a little whatever the ship is called, the
Enterprise.
Enterprise. There's like a Enterprise statue in the middle of this town, and they have like it's pretty crazy. It's about 20 minutes away from me. So if you're ever on a long trucking trip that makes you north of the border, it's about an hour north of Montana. It's a little town called Vulcan. Maybe that could be on one of your voyages one of these days.
I actually would enjoy that if I could.
Yeah, they have a
Fun
whole
fact,
they have a parade and everyone dresses up as people from Star Trek and it just stuck.
I was I went to the place where I get my hair cut, and I was just clean cut and everything, and they said, you look like a young Shatner.
Ah, there you go.
I looked in the mirror and I said, you know what, you kind of hit the ball on the park right there. And fun fact, my truck's name is actually the Enterprise.
Oh, beautiful. So what's the longest in the 4 years you've been doing that? What's the longest one time trip you've had? Like what's the farthest you had to travel in one?
Uh, I would have to say, are you talking about like from point A to point B,
Yeah,
or
like
my?
your total distance. What was the longest trip you ever had to go on?
I would say from West Memphis, Arkansas, all the way to Phoenix, Arizona,
Wow. Okay.
and I enjoyed it the whole time. I would not trade it for the world, and that was actually my first time way out west, and I fell in love with the West. I want to move out west one of these days.
Now you had mentioned too we crossed paths from my episode with Abigail, the one also an actress, and she is just that poor girl gets so many trolls. With you posting pictures of in the Captain Kirk outfit or your Star Trek memories, do you come across a lot of trolls online as well?
I have not run into many trolls at all. Not yet. I'm not saying it will happen or won't happen, but I just haven't run into it. But I've had my fair share of trolls and bullies in my past.
They used to get to me so bad, but now I'm old. I don't have time for it anymore. I laugh at them and say, "Hey, thanks. Have a great day. Peace
I
out."
mean, I do feel for Abigail. I really do. She's sweet. She's just trying to make a living for herself, and she's trying to make it in the world. And but here's how I'm thinking it. Yes, trolls are horrible. They're mean, but they're also adding to your views. They're also pushing the algorithm for her, allowing other people to see her.
Yeah,
So in a way, the trolls are actually helping her.
sometimes I had trolls help me lose 100 pounds. So the first time I walked into a gym when I was almost 400 pounds, the back of my neck, and it looked like these guys were behind me on a treadmill or ellipticals or something, and they were like, "Oh, look at that dude's neck, man! It looks like a big pack of sausages." And so when I started boxing and I was punching a heavy bag, you're damn sure I heard those guys in my head, and I just probably was responsible for about half of it. But now it's a totally different thing. But that's a good outlook to have, I guess. But I would say, hey, thanks for the engagement. Thanks for boosting my numbers and have a great day.
Right?
So
It's
you,
almost like they motivate you to bring out the best in you by being the worst that they can be.
what's the uh what's the craziest thing you've seen in the last 4 years on in the trucking world?
The craziest thing, I would have to say, not really the craziest, but the scariest thing. I don't remember which highway I was on, but it was during the snowstorm, and this truck lost its balance and went into the ditch and swerved back over. And I turned back around, and all I saw was this white, huge white ball. And all it was is snow. And next thing I know, I shut down for the day. And the next morning, you got truckers walking over to you, and they're like, "Hey, did you hear what happened to that truck? He flipped over, and his truck and trailer is totaled."
Wow.
And it woken something inside of me that was like, wow, when I sit in this driver's seat, I'm essentially signing my will and testament, because I don't know if I'm going to be here anymore, because behind this wheel, I'm in charge of not only keeping this truck moving, but everybody else on the road.
Wow.
And, the rule is you can set your home time, you can request it, but it's not always guaranteed, because you don't know weather-wise, traffic-wise, or freight-wise who's going to follow you, if you're going to be followed, and what's going to happen.
Wow. So what's your big goal? If you were to pick any kind of movie, any kind of TV show you could be in tomorrow, what's your role? What's your
Uh,
dream?
my top three?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for that.
Uh, I'd have to say for genre, I would pick sci-fi, definitely. If there was another spin-off of any of the Star Treks, I would want to be in one of those. Second genre would have to be romance or comedy romance. Not Hallmark. Not hating on Hallmark. Hallmark makes great movies, but they're so cheesy. You can tell by like the first 5 seconds of a movie who's getting married to who's gonna cheat on who, and it's like, come on, Hallmark, give us at least more of a cliffhanger. But hey, if I get in a Hallmark movie, I'll be happy just getting a part. My next movie would have to be if they made a series of unfortunate events again.
Mm.
I know Jim Carrey did one, and then they had the original, not the original, but it was Neil Patrick Harris, his portrayal of Count Olaf, and just that whole entire series that had, 3 or 4 seasons, that just got me hooked. And I was like, gee, I'd like to be in that. And then Hugh Jackman got me into like historical movies after his portrayal of Les Miserables.
Beautiful. So if you were in like a action kind of superhero movie, would you rather be a good guy or a villain in the movie?
Ah, that's a tough question. Ah, maybe kind of both. Because if you think about it, the reason a villain became a villain in the first place is because he was underestimated maybe he had a rough childhood, or just he was trying to be seen and nobody wanted to see him. So the only way he could get seen was doing something bad, and then people would notice him. So he was like, okay, if nobody's going to notice the good things I'm doing, then I'm just going to do horrible, tragic things, and then people will see me and they'll notice me. And then the hero, I mean, not hating on heroes, the heroes are the good people, but at the same time, they're like your teacher's pet, kind of everybody's favorite, but some of the time they're also underestimated.
Interesting. See, I always wanted to be a wrestler when I was younger. I wanted to get into the WWF, but I wanted to be the heel. I wanted to be the one the fans were booing and throwing things at, not the face, not the John Cena or the Cody Rhodes. I wanted to be the guy everyone hated and booed and threw stuff at, just because I don't know, it would probably make it more entertaining. So it's kind of the same thing, kind of villain, kind of wrestling heel.
I kind of feel like with my past, I could play the villain who nobody gave a chance to. And then I could also play the hero, the unexpected hero that people say, oh, you're not going to make it, you're not going to be able to save anybody. But that it takes that one moment that in life that changes everything.
Beautiful. So what's next for you? Just keep posting away online and hopefully something happens, or what's your plan there?
Well, I'm on Backstage. I'm on Actors Access. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm still with a coach. I'm still in a class. I'm doing it on top of driving, and thankfully it's all Zoom meetings. But it hasn't been a year yet, and I'm already to the point where I'm putting in multiple positions, hoping to get something, whether it's the lead or a supporting actor, or it doesn't have to be a big major role. I'm just looking for anything that can get my foot in the door. And something someone said is, don't let the no's or the unopened auditions be the reason you stop. Take every no as just not right for that part, or maybe they already had the positions filled. But keep applying yourself, keep putting yourself out there. I've always wanted to meet William Shatner. He's actually coming to Tennessee, to Knoxville and Chattanooga, which is like 3-4 hours away from me, and I'll be going to Nashville to visit my dad for a little bit around the time he's actually going to be there. But I'm also trying to buy myself a house, and finances aren't really holding up that much, but I'm doing what I can where I can, and I'm just keeping my head held high for that time to, for my big break. And I'm boldly going without knowing what's going to happen on the other side, but I just keep my head up and hope for the best. And another phrase that William Shatner used is risk. Risk is our business. So as a truck driver, risk is my business. And as an actor, I'm risking myself to put myself into roles. So there, yet again, I'm risking everything.
Well, and you know what? Here we are now. We're on the 30 minutes of fame. When I post this episode, I'm gonna tag William Shatner in it on Twitter, and we'll see what happens. Fire me that date when that's gonna be around, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Who knows? But
That you don't know how much that would mean to me. Literally, I've been seeing. I even saw where he got injured, and I was like, he's 90-something years old, and he's still kicking, and I'm like, that should show people that Don't let your age stop you from achieving what you want. I'm 28 years old. I just turned 28 February 2nd. I was like, it's too late for me to get into acting. I'm too old. There's no way anybody would want me, a 28-year-old with no experience, just a country boy, middle of nowhere. But, my coach said, you're never too old to chase your dreams.
No, you know what? I started a podcast at age 49. I started boxing at age 44. I lost 170 pounds from age 44 to 50. And my last guest, who just started her music career, is 51 and posted her first song live like a few weeks ago. So you're never too old. And yeah, let's see what happens. We'll follow along here. I'll give it a shot, and we'll see if we can make a cool meeting happen for you.
That would be amazing. I,
So
I just I I'm speechless if I don't. Ah,
you never know. It's worth a shot. I've got
it
uh,
is.
I've got one more question for you. I'll put all your links in the description there if anyone wants to reach out to you or just chat or sees an opportunity you might fit for. But everyone check the links down there in the description and like and subscribe and all that cool shit my daughter tells me to say. But I I end all my episodes with this question, and yeah, it's just my little thing. So a 100-meter pigeon carrying contest. How many pigeons could you fit in your arms and carry 100 meters?
I'd say about 150.
Oh, that ties you for first overall. You're my 93rd something episode, but that'll put you tied for first place with a 5 foot Italian lady from just who was gonna put double-sided duct tape all over her arms.
I mean, hey, just stick the pigeons on. They'll hold on.
There we go. So a new tie for first place, everyone. This is awesome. But yeah, thanks for coming on with me. Thanks for sharing your story, and we'll get this out there to the world. You never know what can happen.
Thanks for having me again, Dave. I enjoyed it.
All right, thank you, and everyone out there watching. Go find someone online, someone that's posted something, and reach out to someone. If you see someone in a grocery store, just say one nice thing to one person every day for the year, and you can change someone's life.